the god of wine, Bacchus, the Roman drink. Obviously, there was no wine in the UK, so it would have all been brought in with the Romans, but it didn't really catch on after they left either. So we had things called mead houses.
Oh, I can't stand mead. Ugh.
This is a kind of.
It looks like a giant insect with hundreds of legs.
It does. It looks like an armadillo or something, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Obviously, this is a reconstruction, but
No.
okay, stop it.
Yay.
Nice one, Jackie.
Okay, you're going to take the Mickey.
It's got dormer windows.
Throw the ball away.
It's very
Okay, this is a mead house. This is a reconstruction of a mead house, and mead, of course, is made from honey, amongst other things. But it was very popular in the early Middle Ages, and they discovered that they could make beer out of hops. So here's a lovely picture of people picking hops. Very kind of all very happy and clean and shiny and bright.
very romanticized.
Yeah. Perhaps this is a bit more accurate.
Yeah.
The up until the 1950s, I think people from the East End used to go down to the Kent hop fields.
Kent, yeah.
Camp out for the summer and they used to live in huts and sheds and all sorts of things. I guess it doesn't happen anymore, but I think it happened right up until the 60s. Oast houses, which are now, of course, fabulously expensive des reses, but these are where the hops were
Dried.
stored. You know, the coaching in, which I guess was the premier lodge of its day, where you could get lodgings, food, and of course there'd be a public bar in them. People would change the horses there or rest the horses and all the rest of it. Some still survive, and of course if you travel by coach in those days, there was always the danger of being got at by a highwayman. So especially if you were rich, you're more likely to be a target. We have the Victorian music halls, which were public houses basically with music, and then they were extended into larger theatre type venues, which I've talked about before at great length. But this was a place of drinking and entertainment. This is the Tabard at Southwark, which was the starting point for the Canterbury Tales, where the pilgrims met before they went on their journey to Canterbury. Here's a contemporary of the various people who actually went on the. If you know Canterbury Tales, the priest and the knight and the wife of Bath and the reeve and all the rest of it, all as they went along the way to pass the time, they told the tales, but they all met and set off from the Tabard Inn in Southwark. This is
Old stuff, yeah.
Who features in Henry IV parts 1 and 2. And the pub which he is based is what's it called? The Boar's Head. The Boar's Head, that's right, yeah. And here we have the landlady, Mistress Quickly, played by who?
Yeah,
Julie
Mrs.
Walters.
Weasley.
Julie Walters,
That's it,
that's right.
Julie Walters.
Julie
Mrs.
Walters,
Weasley.
good Lord.
Yeah.
Wow, look at her, isn't she wonderful?
What's she done with her hair?
It's a great picture, isn't it?
You
It's
can tell by the eyes.
wonderful.
Mhm.
And Dickens, of course, used pubs quite a lot, but
Yeah.
this is one of them. The 6 Jolly Fellowship Porters, it's called, in Our Mutual Friend. Of course, it's Tameside pub down by the river, steps down.
Ah,
And of course, the Pickwick Papers, which was the White Hart, if you remember, where Mr. Pickwick was staying, where the friends met. And there's Mr. Pickwick himself, which is a nice picture. And then there's any Thomas Hardy fans. This is the Buck's Inn. If you remember, in the Far From the Madding Crowd, Joseph Borgras picked up the body of Fanny Robin from the workhouse, and he stopped at the Buck's Inn for a drink, and he got drunk and fell asleep, and she was left outside on the back of the wagon before she was taken to the farm. The Powell Arms is from The History of Mr. Polly by H.G. Wells, and P.G. Woodhouse in the world of Mr. Mulliner. The pub was called the Angler's Rest, and of course Jamaica Inn for Daphne du Maurier. And this one, there was a rather nice film called Last Orders by a gentleman called Gordon Swift in 1996. And it's the coach and the horses in Bermondsey, where a group of friends, it's a bit sort of based on the Canterbury Tales, and a group of friends go on a pilgrimage to spread the ashes of another friend who's died to Margate. It's full of famous Michael Caine, Helen Mirren, Tom Courtenay, pretty stellar cast. But I think it's a film that didn't catch on very well, but it's quite enjoyable actually. But I was recently in Nottingham, as you know, and this is reported to be the oldest pub in the UK, the old trip to Jerusalem, which is I think goes back to the 12th century. It's kind of built into the side of the rock which dominates the centre of the city, and it's still, no, I don't know if it's original, but it's pretty old inside. When you get inside, it's pretty authentic. This is the oldest pub in Manchester, as far as I can tell, which is the Wellington in Shambles, which has survived the Luftwaffe, the IRA, and building. It's been moved twice. It used to be, originally it was pretty much where Marks and Spencer's is now, opposite the corner of the Royal Exchange. Then it was moved in the 60s to when they built the shopping centre. And then when that was bombed, it was moved further back to where it stands now. Sinclair's next door is not as old, but they've always been joined on together. I think Sinclair's is early 18th century. Oh, this is the Middleton, the old Boar's Head, which old pub actually, and it's, if you've ever been in it, it's got, the floors are all over the place. You feel drunk just by walking to the bar, but it still stands in pretty much its original.
I've walked home from there, Graham, a couple of times or more.
To sober up. Okay, it's
missed the last bus.
Yeah, quite a long walk to you. But pubs, of course, produce their, opponents, shall we say? The temperance movement was pretty strong. This is the American one, but the temperance movement was quite strong in the UK. The perils of drink and all the rest of it. They used to. They built temperance billiard halls all over the place. This one is in Chaucer. Beautiful Art Deco building. Fabulous stained glass and all the rest of it. Ironically, it has been converted into a Wetherspoons pub now. So from temperance to demon drink in one fell swoop. But it's still standing, and it's a magnificent building. And there's quite a lot of them dotted around Manchester. Some of them, one or two of them, are still surviving in not as billiard halls, but as other things. But a lot of them have been knocked down now. Of course, snooker. Lots of pubs used to have snooker tables, billiard tables, whatever. And now that's more or less been given over to the American game of pool, which is a similar type of game, as you know, but slightly different. And of course, darts. It's always been a pub staple. People still play darts quite a bit. I noticed that 17-year-old chap just won £300,000. Did you see it on the news yesterday? And pub quizzes are very popular these days. And of course the gastropub is very popular as well nowadays, where you can go and buy masses of sourdough and beaten up avocado and whatever you like. When I was a student, I used to, in this vacation, I used to work in a local pub, and a pint of mild was 1 and 10p, and a pint of bitter was 1 and 11p, and which doesn't, calculate present day prices at all, really. But of course, pubs are failing. Pubs are struggling for all kinds of different reasons, I suppose. But they're closing at an alarming rate. Something like 50 pubs a day are closing in the UK, or something like that. Particularly in rural areas where there isn't the population to support them, I suppose. Pubs in fiction. Rover's Return, of course, in Coronation Street. Queen Vic in EastEnders, and the Woolpack in Emmerdale. There's the Bull at Amersham, which is based on where everybody in the Archers goes, but you don't see it, of course, but it's what it's based on. And here's a collage of all the popular names of pubs, well, not all of them, but some of them, all mashed together there. Pubs get the names from all kinds of sources: battles, royalty, aristocracy, famous people in history or fictional characters, and now, of course, they tend to put the something in something. There's a one in John Dalton Street called the Ape and Apple for some reason or other, and that's something in the Pig and Porcupine or something, all those kind of daft names. But there you go. I think that's probably it, folks.
Thank you.
Well done, Greg.
Yeah, very good.
There's a very old medieval pub in Bolton, where the Earl of Derby had his head chopped off, or where he sat with his head chopped off.
Oh, is that in yeah, I know.
Churchgate.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Churchgate.
In the village where I grew up, Castleton, there were 5.
Yeah.
And there is one now, which is a wine bar.
Mm.
Well, I mean, in Chawton, particularly, I don't know too much about Chawton, but there are a lot of bars, like
A lot.
small bars, as opposed to big pubs. The 1 or 2 of the pubs have closed down now, but there are, in shopping areas, some shops have been converted into brew house bars, I suppose. Brewing their own. Some of them brew their own beer and stuff like that. And they seem to do very well.